everybody. What would I like to talk about today? You know, my hair is super frizzy. It's really humid outside because it has been constantly raining. Like every day. And it's June. And guys, I remember I read a good couple of years ago that apparently with global warming, it'll cause more rain in certain parts of the world. And I guess my part of the world is one of those parts. But I remember reading about that. Yeah. The thing about global warming is that it doesn't have to happen at all. And it's something that is easy to fight against. It really does not have to happen. For example, with global warming, I read that there would be more rain. And now it is raining a lot in June when it's supposed to be sunny. The opposite example would be in California. You always hear there's wildfires everywhere in California. And that is because, a couple of different things, but two reasons I'm going to give you are, number one, California is the top dairy state in the U.S. It used to be Wisconsin, the land of cheese, but the cheeseheads, right? Wisconsin. But actually, California now is the top agricultural state in the U.S., which means they grow a lot of the fruit, and they also have the most cattle farming and dairy farming. And the thing about, cows is that cows are really big animals, and they require a lot more water than people do. And cows are huge. If you're gonna raise them so you can eat them, and if you're gonna raise them so that they will produce milk for you to sell, you need to really have a lot of water to keep those cows alive. So one of the things about California is that most of the water that should be going to people is going to cows instead. And if it's not going to cows, then it's going to, growing the fruits and vegetables that end up on your grocery store shelves. So the water is going to farming instead of the people that live in California. But also, the farming is another problem in a different way. It goes all the way back to when California, before it was even colonized, before it was a state. When Native Americans lived in California, they still do, but when they were the only ones there was the Miwok tribe. Native Americans are not a monolith. There's a lot of different tribes, and before Europeans came over from Europe, there were either tens of millions of Native Americans in the US, or there were hundreds of millions. And one of the tribes in California is the Miwok tribe. And when they were there, Native Americans had civilizations and agriculture and farming techniques. They didn't just do hunting and gathering. They weren't just hunting buffalo and picking berries. California used to be covered in the tree called the black oak tree, which is native to California, and it used to be covered in black oak forests, and that was because the Miwok tribe ate the acorns from the black oak. But when European colonists came over, they cut down a lot of those forests and replaced them with flat fields for their cows to graze. Cows are not native to America, and they are really bad for the ecosystem, but we don't need to talk about that, because Americans get really sensitive about that. If you say that eating meat is kind of bad for the environment, Americans do not like that. They get really mad at you. Yeah, don't worry. Anyway, but yeah, it's been constantly raining, so my hair is kind of frizzy.